Elaina Enzien of Enzien Horsemanship and Gelinas Farm in Pembroke, New Hampshire. Welcome to the show, Elaina.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you here. I'd love to, as I said earlier, and I've said when I'm on the show before, horses is a huge part of my life and has been for the last few years. A tremendous, just really so many different reasons it's important, but mostly because it just helps my mental state. And Elaina is very experienced horsewoman from Pembroke, New Hampshire, and you're fairly new owner to Gelinas Farm. So if maybe tell us a little bit about Gelinas Farm and how you got into what you're doing.
All right. Yeah. Well, thanks for asking me to be on, Mike. This is
My
really
pleasure.
fun.
It is fun.
So how did I get to Gelinas Farm? Well, I started riding horses when I was 6 years old. And I started at Gelinas Farm. So I never left.
Yeah, clearly.
Much. Yeah, so it just was such an incredible program. The original owners were Joanne Gelinas Snow and Artie Snow, and her father bought the farm in 1953. And he, had a lot of livestock, trucked livestock to auction all around the state, Bob Gelinas. So that's kind of where the whole farm started, is just a man with a dream that bought some land, and it was built from there. So Joanne and Artie really are the ones that created Gelinas Farm and what it is today. So they operated the farm for well over 30 years and just recently retired. They're down in Aiken, South Carolina now. They just left a couple weeks ago, but so I grew up riding with Joanne under her mentorship with Artie, along with a lot of other really incredible clinicians that came to the farm over the years. And so, I was just a kid that was crazy about horses. After school every day, I was at the farm. And and then, I was a teenager, got to college age, and was like, okay, I'm going to study agriculture. I thought I wanted to go into horses, but I was like, no, I think I'm just going to keep it as a hobby. Long story short, went the agriculture route, got my master's degree in agricultural sciences at UNH, was working for the UNH Cooperative Extension Service for 7 years. And then, one day, Joanne, my husband and I were living in the farmhouse at the time, and she was like, hey, what's your plan? And we're like, oh no, we're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to find a new place to live. And she was like, what do you think about buying this place? And we're like, what? So not on my radar. And then I was working on my master's at the time, and then COVID happened, and I started doing a lot more at the farm with this idea that we might be buying this place. And so I really sat and thought about it with my husband for a while, and my parents, of course, and with Joanne and Artie's help. And finally, I was like, I'm all in. I want to do this. And so, one thing led to another, all within pretty much 3 months. I finished my master's degree, quit my job with Extension, which was really hard, but then dove into not just home ownership, but farm ownership. And we opened our books, January 1st, 2023.
Oh, wow. So it hasn't even been 2 years.
No, it'll be 2 years.
Oh, my gosh.
On the 1st.
Okay.
Yeah, on January 1st. It's crazy. It feels like it's been forever, but at the same time, it's like, wow, it's already, it's only been 2 years. So.
And for, obviously, our listeners can't see you, but you're young.
Yeah, I am. I will be 32 this year.
Yeah, holy moly. So anyone listening, dreams can come true. Congratulations.
Thank you.
At this young age, owning an incredible farm
and
doing
truly,
what you're doing.
Yeah, it was just such an incredible opportunity. I feel so incredibly grateful to Joanne and Artie and my community at Gelinas Farm, which you're now a part of. We just have an amazing group of people. I have an incredible support system, incredible staff, husband, parents, and just it's like kismet, I guess.
Yeah, totally,
Like,
totally. Well, it's an incredible place.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks to the Gelinas and now you.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us about the farm, I guess, what happens at Gelinas Farm and the cattle piece of it too, which is that's fairly unique in New Hampshire, isn't it? There aren't a lot of.
Well, yeah, I guess coming from the agricultural world, I'm used to like working with a lot of farmers and beef producers and such. But the farm has always had cattle as long as I've been there.
Okay.
And I think, it's one of those pieces that I feel really connected to. I love raising beef cattle. I love the culture of it, just like being able to produce really amazing food to share with family and friends. But yeah, so what is Gelinas Farm?
Yes.
We do, and this is something I've just continued to do, but boarding. So people that own horses, they can board their horses with us. We have 24/7 turnout, which I think is fairly unique to our area. And mostly we're just fortunate enough to have the land base to allow for that. We really believe in, letting horses be horses. Granted, it's not for like every horse, of course, but horse, of course. But it definitely works for us. And so boarding, we have a lesson program with a wait list. It's been a long time since we've had an opening on that wait list. So I feel, again, really fortunate to be able to walk into such a successful business and that has a really good reputation in the state. And then we have a training program, which so we have horses that are boarded at the farm that are typically in full-time or part-time training. And then in the summer months, spring through the summer, we take in horses outside of the farm. And usually in the spring, I'm starting colts. So horses that have never been ridden before, people bring them in and I put the first rides on them. Oh, wow. And they stay for 60 days at minimum. The longer, the better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then of course we do a lot of events, a lot of clinics, opportunities to develop ourselves as horsemen and women. And that's kind of our foundation, I feel like, is just quality horsemanship and really just building better partnerships with our horses. And we do that through all these avenues. So yeah, and then with that, we have our beef cattle operation too. So we raise about 20-ish head of cattle each year. Actually, Bob Gelinas' grandson, Ryan Gelinas, also raises cattle. So it's great to be able to continue to have the Gelinas family be involved and, of course, part of the farm. And so we kind of work on that together. And so we usually 20 to 30 head of cattle a year, and they graze on our pastures for the summer months. We buy them in from New York.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Which is kind of a unique situation. A lot of folks around here are typically cow-calf operations and what have you. But so we graze them through the season. We do cattle clinics, teach people how to practice low-stress livestock handling with their horses.
Yep.
Moving them around on pasture and such. And then in the fall, we send them to be finished, and then we enjoy them on for the whole year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then start it all over again?
Yep. Come spring, we'll get a new batch, usually in May.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Wow, I love it.
Yeah, so it really is like all encompassing. Everything kind of feeds each other. Like the cattle really help manage the land in a really neat way. And then, it also helps provide kind of an edge for our clinics and stuff because people really enjoy giving their horses a job and just doing something different with their horses. So.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll dig into that a little further.
Cool.
Mike Dennehy filling in for Jack Heath here in Sig Sauer Studios at the Pulse of NH. Be back in a couple of minutes.